Work and learn. Meet Light Meet Max සක්‍රිය කර ගැනීමට MySLT app එකට log වෙන්න. Work and learn. Meet Light Meet Max සක්‍රිය කර ගැනීමට MySLT app එකට log වෙන්න.
දසනකාන්තී චූර්ණය සහිත ලීවර් ආයුෂ් දන්තාලේපය දත්වල ඇති ප්‍රශ්න 10ක් වළකයි.
Challenged. Supreme Court hears 9 petitions filed against 22nd Amendment. Lawyers highlight that the 22nd Amendment draft will create an executive prime minister, which is against the constitution. The NCPI-based inflation hit 66.7% for the month of July 2022. Detention. The Ministry of Defence extends detention orders issued to 3 suspects, including the RUSF convener, while the US envoy says using laws such as PTA erodes democracy in Sri Lanka. All this and much more coming up tonight on First at 9, this Monday the 22nd of August 2022.
Vim Deera milliliter CA Smart Pack එක රුපියල් 85ට දැන් වෙළඳ පොලේ.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to AdaDerana 24's English News. I'm Andrew Bernard. On a top story for tonight, the Ministry of Defence today extended the duration of the detention orders issued to 3 suspects, including the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, for a period of 90 days as per requests made by the police. The trio of suspects were also handed over to the Terrorist Investigation Department today. From a group of 19 individuals who were arrested during the protest carried out by the Inter-University Students' Federation on the 18th of August in Union Place, the convener of the IUSF, Vasantha Mudalige, Galwava Siridhammathera and Hashantha Gunathilaka still remain under police arrest. The trio are currently being detained under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. According to powers vested with the Superintendent of Police through the PTA, the suspects were questioned for 72 hours. However, police media spokesperson SSP Nihal Thalduwa said that they requested the Ministry of Defence to extend the duration of the detention order issued on the 3 suspects in order to continue the investigation. As such, the Ministry of Defence granted permission to the request made by police and extended the detention order for 90 days today. Yesterday, the Inspector General of Police stated that the case will be transferred to the Terrorist Investigation Department if investigations reveal that the convener of the IUSF, Vasantha Mudalige, Galwava Siridhammathera and Hashantha Gunathilaka have been involved in any terrorist activity. With this being the case, the trio were handed over to the officers of the Terrorist Investigation Department in Piliyantala today. Meanwhile, actor Jehan Apuhami, who had fled police custody following his arrest on the 18th of August, surrendered before the 4th Magistrate Court today. Following this, 4th Magistrate Thilina Gamage ordered for the release of the suspect on a surety bail of 500,000 rupees. The magistrate also ordered the suspect to appear before the Slave Island Police tomorrow morning and ordered the Special Investigation Division of Police to investigate and submit a report to court regarding the escape of the suspect while he was in custody of the Maradana Police. Now, the international community expressed concerns over the use of the Prevention of Terrorism Act to detain the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, and 2 others. The European Union, taking to Twitter, expressed concerns about reports on the use of the Prevention of Terrorism Act in recent arrests. They referred to information given by the government of Sri Lanka to the international community about the de facto moratorium on the use of PTA. Meanwhile, Ambassador of the United States Julie Chung said that using laws that don't conform with the international human rights standards, like the PTA, erodes democracy in the country. She encouraged the government to uphold the rights of the people to express their views. Now, meanwhile, the Urban Development Authority stated that damages amounting to 4.9 million rupees were sustained by the Goldface Green area due to the Gota Gogama protests. The Urban Development Authority stated that the protests carried out at the Goldface Green had caused damages to the area totaling up to 4.9 million rupees. In a statement, the media unit of the ministry said that a report was compiled to assess the damages caused to the area around the Golface Green due to the Gota Gogama protest. Accordingly, the assessment report prepared by the Urban Development Authority stated that a sum of 150,000 rupees will be incurred to clear up the land and renovate damages, and then 4.75 million rupees will have to be spent for replanting grass at the Golface Green. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga instructed the Urban Development Authority to take necessary legal measures to recover compensation from the activists for the damage caused to the area around the Golface Green belonging to the Urban Development Authority. Now, leader of the Pivituru Helorumia parliamentarian Udaya Gammanpilla says the Presidential Commission should be appointed to probe the violent incidents between the 9th of May and the 12th of July and investigate those responsible for the violence. Speaking at a media briefing today, he also said that Presidential Commission of Inquiry needs to be appointed to find those responsible for the current state of the country and provide recommendations on what punishments should be subjected to.
මැයි 9 වෙනිදා සිට ජූලි 12 වෙනිදා දක්වා දෙපාර්ශ්වයේම සිදුවුණු ප්‍රචණ්ඩ ක්‍රියා ඒවා ඇති වෙන්න හේතු ඒවා පසුබිමේ හිටියේ කවුද යන කාරණා සොයා බැලීමට වහාම ජනාධිපති කොමිසමක් පත් කරන්න කියලා අපි ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා. මේ ජනතාව අද මෙමුණ දෙන මේ දුෂ්කරතා බිහි වුණේ වංචා දූෂණ නොසලකිල්ල සහ හිතාමතාගත් වැරදි තීන්දුව නිසා. ඒකට වගකිව යුත්තන් කවුද? ඔවුන්ට ලබා දිය යුතු දඬුවම් මොනවාද? යලි මෙවැනි තත්ත්වයක් ඇති නොවීමට ගත යුතු පියවර මොනවාද කියන දේවල් නිර්දේශ කිරීමට මේ කාරණේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ජනාධිපති කොමිසමක් පත් කරන්න ඕනි. එවැනි ජනාධිපති කොමිසමක් පත් කළොත් මේ රට මෙතනට ඇද දැමීමට නොසලකිල්ලෙන් වැරදි තීරණ ගනිමින් කටයුතු කළේ කවුද කියන එක සාක්ෂි සහිතව ඒ ජනාධිපති කොමිසම ඉදිරියේ කරුණු දක්වන්න මන් සූදානම්.
සර්වභාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවක් හැදෙන ලකුණු නම් නැහැ. සර්වභාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවක් හැදේවි මෙන්න මේ විදියට. හැම පක්ෂයෙන්ම කෑලි කඩලා අරගෙන හදාවි ආණ්ඩුවක්. දැන් ඒක තමයි සර්වභාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුව වෙන්නේ. තරංගුට ගැනීම වහම නවත්තන්න ඕන. ජනතාවගේ විශාල නැගිටීමක් ඇති වෙලා ඔක්කොම පිළිගන්නවා ගෝඨාභය මහත්තයා පළවා හරපු එක හරි කියලා. නමුත් ඒ නැගිටීම තුළ වෙච්ච සුළු ක්‍රියාවල් ඒකක්වත් දඟකාරකම් මිසක් අපරාධ නෙමෙයි.
සර්වපාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවක් ගැන කතා කරනවානේ. සත්‍ය ගණනාවක් සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. අපි අහන්නේ සර්වපාක්ෂික වැඩපිළිවෙල කුමක්ද? මේ රටේ ඩොලර් අර්බුදයට, මේ රටේ ජීවන වියදම් වැඩිවීමට මොකක්ද ආණ්ඩුවට තියෙන විසඳුම? කැබිනට් ඇමතිකම් පෙන්න දේශපාලන පක්ෂ කඩන්න උත්සාහ කරමින් තිබෙනවා කියලා පේනවා. අපිට ආරංචි මාර්ගවල හැටියට නම් දැන් අර පරණ කට්ටියම අහපව් කැබිනට් ඇමතිවරු වෙනවයි කියලා ආරංචි.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා අගමැති තනතුරෙන් අයින් වෙන්න කියලා ලියුම් ගහලා ඊට පස්සේ ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට ඉවත් වෙන්න කියලා ලියුම් ගහලා මේ පක්ෂය ඇතුළෙම හිටපු පුද්ගලයින් අද වෙනත් බලවේග හදන්න යනවා නම් ඔවුන්ට ජනතාව නිසි පිළිතුරු දෙයි. ඉතින් දැනටමත් ඔවුන් එක්ක මුලින් හිටගත්ත පිරිස් වලින් භාගයක්වත් අද ඔවුන් එක්ක නෑ මේ മന്ത്രിවරුන් අතරිනුත්. ඉතින් තව ඉදිරියට යනකොට දේශපාලන වශයෙන් අනාථයින් බවට පත් වෙන බව අපි දන්නවා.
Stay with us for more news after this short break.
Big 3.
Welcome back. Now, President's Counsel V.K. Choksi pointed out to the Supreme Court today that the draft 22nd Amendment will create an executive prime minister which is against the Constitution. The President's Counsel made these remarks after a 3-member judge bench took up 9 petitions that were filed by petitioners against the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. The hearing of the petitions is scheduled to be taken up again tomorrow. The Supreme Court began hearing 9 petitions filed challenging the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution today. The Attorney General has been named as a respondent in the petitions. Appearing on behalf of the government was the Attorney General, President's Counsel Sanjay Rajaratnam. President's Counsel Manohara De Silva first presented the facts before the court on behalf of the former Army Lieutenant Colonel Anil Sumedha Amarasekara, who had submitted one petition. The President's Counsel went on to say that the executive powers belong to the President. It is not possible under the Constitution to curtail or remove them. The Supreme Court has confirmed that through the judgment announced regarding the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, the executive powers of the President can be limited. However, it depends on the final decisions taken by the President. Member of the judge bench Bonika Aluvihara then questioned whether the proposed constitutional council does not represent the executive powers of the president. In response, the President's Council replied that although the executive powers of the President may be represented in the Constitutional Council, the power of the President is limited through it. He also stated that he is strongly against the proposal to appoint members to the Constitutional Council on the basis of nationality. President's Counsel Manohara De Silva went on to say that this is against the Constitution and that such provisions may be included to please people based with different agendas. As such, he requested the court to not approve the implementation of this provision. Meanwhile, President's Counsel V.K. Choksi appeared on behalf of the petitioners H.S. Kumara and presented the facts to the judge bench. He pointed out that the proposed bill would create an executive prime minister, which is against the objectives of the entire constitution. Following this, the hearing of the other petitions was adjourned till tomorrow. Now, consignment of 21,000 metric tons of fertilizer reached Sri Lanka today after being distributed to mostly tea plantations and maize cultivations. The consignment was purchased under Indian credit for fertilizer to boost Sri Lanka's agricultural harvests.
The second consignment of fertilizer purchased for Sri Lanka under a $55 million credit facility extended by India's Export and Import Bank reached the port of Colombo today. Consisting 21,000 metric tons of fertilizer, the consignment was officially handed over by Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Gopal Bagle to Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaraveera and Ports and Shipping Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva. Earlier last month, Sri Lanka received 44,000 metric tons of fertilizer procured under the Indian Credit Facility.
අද සිටම අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රදේශවලටම අපි ප්‍රවාහනය කරමින් ලබා දෙනවා. මේ පළමු තොගය මීට ප්‍රථම ලබා දුන්න ඒවා මේ වන විටත් කුඹුරු වලට යොදලා දැන් ඒවා හොඳ තත්ත්වයෙන් මේ කුඹුරු ටික සකස් වෙමින් තියෙන අවධියක තමයි දෙවන තොගය අපිට ලැබෙන්නේ. මේ දෙවන තොගය අපි වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් දැන්ටමත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙමින් තිබෙන්නේ තේ වගාවටත් ඒ වගේම බඩගිනි වගා කරන ගොවීන් වෙත ලබා දෙන්න. ඊට අතිරේකව මහකන්නේ යාපනයෙන් පටන් ගත්ත පළවෙනියටම අපි යාපනයේ දැන්ටමත් මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 200ක් යූරියා යවලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම උතුරු ප්‍රදේශයේත් නැගෙනහිර ප්‍රදේශෙත් තමයි කලින්ම හි වගාව ආරම්භ වෙන්නේ. ප්‍රදේශවලට මේ පොහොරම අපිට ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි දැන් සූදානමින් සිටින්නේ මහකන්නේ පොහොර ලබා ගැනීමේ ටෙන්ඩර් පත් සකස් කිරීම. ඒ කටයුතුත් මේ වන විට ආරම්භ කරලා තිබෙනවා. මහකන්නේට අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා යූරියා වලට අතිරේකව පණ්ඩි පොහොර නැත්නම් MOP TSP ආදී පොහොර ලබා දීමේ කටයුත්තටත් අපි දායක වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ ගේන පොහොර සියල්ලම ඉතාමත් හොඳ තත්ත්වයේ පොහොර.
We are always in support of the people of Sri Lanka. India will continue to be supportive of the people of Sri Lanka so that they can face the current difficulties. And today's event is an example of the benefits to people of both the countries from close friendship, from mutual trust and mutual goodwill between the two countries and their people.
Now, the price of a litre of kerosene has been increased by 253 rupees to 340 rupees with effect from midnight yesterday. Kerosene has been sold at 87 rupees per litre. The government said a price revision on kerosene was not previously made, taking into consideration the economic state of the families heavily dependent on kerosene. However, Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said that a kerosene price revision due for many years, adding that selling kerosene at subsidized prices is one of the major reasons for the losses incurred by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. With prices now on par with costs, the minister said the government has proposed a direct cash subsidy to low-income families, fisheries and plantation sectors that depend on kerosene. Following the halt in operations of the Sapugaskanda refinery during the past months due to shortages of crude oil, kerosene availability in the market became limited. However, with the recommendations of the operations at the Sapugaskanda on Saturday, the subject minister said the refinery will be able to operate at full capacity for 40 days and that steps will be taken to distribute kerosene to the market uninterrupted. Now, the University Grounds Commission states that relevant measures will be taken to reopen state universities in September. UGC Chairman Professor Sampath Amarathunga said physical lectures for all state universities will commence from September. He added that the decision was taken owing to a sense of normalcy that is prevalent in the country at present. State universities were closed due to the fuel crisis in the country, as students and academic staff were unable to arrange transportation to and from the universities. Now, according to the Department of Census and Statistics, the rate of inflation for the month of July was reported at 66.7%. The NCPI for all items for the month of July is 244.4 and records an increase of 12.9 in index points compared to June this year. The overall rate of inflation as measured by the NCPI on year-on-year basis is 66.7% in July 2022, and the moving average inflation for the month of July is 25.9%. With respect to July 2021, the reported inflation for the month of July this year was mainly due to the higher price levels prevailing in both food and non-food groups. Accordingly, the year-on-year inflation of the food group increased to 82.5% in July this year from 75.8% in June, and year-on-year inflation of the non-food group increased to 52.4% in July this year from 43.6% in June last month. Now, the ASPI closed in green as a result of price gains in counters such as Expolanka Holdings, LOLC Holdings and 8 Conspens, with the turnover crossing 3.1 billion rupees. The index gained 101.84 points to end at 9,087.59. A similar behavior was witnessed in the S&P SL20. The net worth and institutional investor participation was noted in John Keel's Holding and Melster Corp. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net buyers. Foreign purchasers accounted for 142 million rupees, while foreign sales were 75 million rupees. Now, oil prices fell today in volatile trading, ending 3 days of gains on fears of aggressive US interest rate hikes may lead to a global economic slowdown and dent fuel demand. Brent crude futures for October settlement fell to $3.99 to $92.73 a barrel. US West Texas Intermediate crude for September delivery due to expire on Monday was down $3.77 or 4.1% at $87. The more active October contract was down $3.73 or 4.1% at $86.71. Pressuring prices were worries over slowing fuel demand in China, the world's largest oil importer, partly because of a power crunch in the southwest. Beijing cut its benchmark leading rate on Monday as part of measures to revive an economy hobbled by prosperity crisis and a resurgence of COVID-19 cases. And that's all we have for you this evening. Join us again tomorrow at the same time. Good night.